The Crow and the Snake. For a long time, a pair of crows had lived high up in a tall tree. Every spring, they made a new nest and tried their best to raise a new family. But each year, the poor baby crows were eaten up by a big black snake. Family after family disappeared into the hungry snake's ugly mouth. The snake lived in a hole at the foot of the tree. It was easy for him to go up the tree to Mr. and Mrs. Crow's nest. At last, Mrs. Crow became very angry. "My dear," she said to her husband, "I am tired of laying nice warm eggs and sitting on them for weeks, only to have my babies eaten up by that bad Mr. Snake. I cannot kill him myself, nor can you. So I must think of a way to save our family." "What do you mean to do, my dear?" asked Mr. Crow. "You shall see," replied Mrs. Crow. Well, at that moment, the king's son, called the prince, arrived at the nearby river to take a bath. The prince had 2 helpers with him. Mrs. Crow flew to some plants along the river and waited. The king's son took off his beautiful clothes and his rings of gold and silver. He placed them carefully upon the ground. Then he jumped into the cool river with a helper on both sides. Mrs. Crow then flew down from the plant and onto the prince's clothes. There she picked up a beautiful golden ring with her mouth. She then flew quickly to the hole of the snake and dropped the ring inside it. The snake was away at the moment, probably eating up some other crow's family. Then she flew back to her nest, making some happy caw, caw sounds, and laid an egg as quickly as she could. The prince came out of the river, dried himself, and started to dress again. In a few minutes, he noticed that the ring was missing. He became very angry at the loss and told his helpers he was not going home until they found the ring. So they began to look everywhere among the plants and trees. Since the ring could not walk away by itself, they believed someone had taken it. Meanwhile, Mr. Snake came back to his hole and went to sleep. One of the helpers came to the big tree and looked into the hole. There he saw the big, black, ugly snake sleeping. And next to the snake was the golden ring. He called to the prince, "Here is the one who took your ring. It's a black snake." The other helper came running up, and the 2 of them were able to kill the snake and get back the golden ring. Then they went home with the happy prince, and the smart Mrs. Crow in the treetop soon laid another egg. "My dear," she said to her husband, You don't have to worry any more. This year, we shall surely bring up a large and healthy family.